أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So this is the second of our new series, Key Concepts in Quran. And last week we talked about ghurur, deception. And this week we will talk about kibr, arrogance. Of course, when we talk about kibr, what comes to mind is first, also in chronological order, the first time the word appears is in the story of Adam alayhi salam and Satan, Iblis. It's in Surah Baqarah, but story reappears in other chapters as well. So the one I picked up is from Surah Sad, since it had more explanation. So I'm going to go with this one. Let's first read the verses. إذ قال ربك للملائكة إني خالق بشرا من طين. When your Lord said unto the angels, indeed I am about to create a mortal out of clay. فإذا سويته ونفخت فيه من روحي فقعوا له ساجدين. And when I have fashioned him and breathed into him of my spirit, then right away fall down before him prostrate. فسجد الملائكة كلهم أجمعون. Then angels fell down prostrate, everyone. إلا إبليس استكبر وكان من الكافرين. Except Iblis, he was arrogant and became one of the disbelievers.
Assalamu alaikum. We have a quiz.
Yes, yeah. So, قال يا إبليس ما منعك أن تسجد لما خلقت بيدي أستكبرت أم كنت من العالين. He said, O Iblis, what hindered you from falling prostrate before that which I have created with both my hands? Are you too proud, or are you of the high exalted? قال أنا خير منه خلقتني من نار وخلقته من طين. He said, I am better than him. You created me of fire, while him you did create of clay. قال فاخرج منها فإنك رجيم وإن عليك لعنتي إلى يوم الدين. He said, go forth from hence, for indeed you are outcast, and indeed my curse is on you till the day of judgment. So this is the story. We have seen the story before, but now we are looking at the story from the point of view of Satan's attitude of kibr or istakbara. So him demonstrating arrogance. This might be less noisy, yes. Okay. Good. Yes, less noise. So, like in the story of Adam alayhi salam, there is, there are sort of, maybe we can say 4 entities in terms of conscious beings that are being mentioned. Like there is Adam, Eve, and then there is angels, and then there is Iblis. So Iblis is, both angels and Iblis are invited for prostrating to Adam. And then all the angels do prostrate, but Iblis does not. And as an explanation of why he does not, it's being mentioned as istakbara. And the word istakbara is, like the word kibr is coming from being big. like Kibr is big. Istakbara is in that form, it is to pretend as if I am bigger, like applying it to myself. So although he is not big, he considers himself to be big. Like this is the meaning of the word. So the reaction of angels is to obey the command, and in this regard, prostrating before that bashar, the human. But Iblis's response is considering himself to be greater. And as an output of this, he is being mentioned as وَكَانَ مِنَ الْكَافِرِينَ. So really this arrogance in here is being as if the cause of denial. So I guess the first question then we can ask in here is, how is considering oneself to be greater is becoming a sign of disbelief or a cause of disbelief? Is this, what's the relationship between the two? Like istikbar and kufr. How does one entail the other? This is question one to think about. And then as the verse continues, the Creator is asking, "O Iblis, what prevented you from prostrating that which I created with both my hands?" That's an interesting, the way the Creator is asking is, why prevented you from prostrating that which I created with both my hands? Saying, did you just istakbarta? Like, are you considering yourself to be high? Am kunta min al-alin, or are you really high? Kunta min al-alin is like, have you been high, really? Which one makes you prevent? Then his response is, I am better than him. So Satan apparently here is not considering himself to be like pretendingly high. Actually, he actually considers himself to be high. Like these two options were presented to Satan, and apparently Satan considers himself to be falling into the second category. Like, I did not pretend to be high. I am actually high. Because Istakbara's notion of this, although it's not like this, you pretend it to be. But he says, no, I am with the second option. And I am better than him. And then the justification is, you created me from fire and created him from clay. So what do you think? If we go back to the beginning, the first question, what is the relationship between this appearing or pretending to be high relative to how does it entail being a denier? Okay, go ahead.
I was thinking about the fact that he said, you creating me on fire while him created a clay, I'm feeling like David of how to sort of find best. There seems to be an acknowledgement that at the very least, like he's not created himself, like he doesn't have that. So to some degree, it feels like acknowledgement of higher entity, like something is being understood in that sense. And then the actual part is like, I feel though as I'm better than this person versus I know. So is that negating the fact that, like, how do you know? Is that the issue? Or is it the issue that maybe, because I felt like, well, if you say, like, you gave credit, it looks like, at least on the surface, like, I gave credit, like, hey, you created me, but then I'm also like, well, you created me out of fire, but this person out of play? Like, how, I guess I'm having a hard time of like, where do you insert the wrong part?
Where's the mistake?
So who decides the more skin tone? Do I decide it myself?
No, it's not that.
Right? I say, oh, my genes or whoever decides. You made me wiser than Yusuf. So I can say that. So I'm giving credit to something else to make the decision who's fine with right. But at the end, I arbitrarily assign higher value to one over another.
So you still taking ownership of like, as if you know the score of which one is or
There is no such thing as that. Like a 5 versus 4. Why one is better than other? Why white is better than black? No, like no reason, just arbitrary claim. No basis.
So like the root of kufr, what is kufr in here? So maybe we can start from there, right? What is the denial in here? Because what Satan did was not obeying the command of prostration. Is this like, since the creator commanded and he shone away from this, is this the denial part? Or there is something underlying which made him not to act, and that's what the creator is unearthing by this questioning. It's not saying that you become a denier because you didn't prostrate. It says, what made you not prostrate? This is where the kufr lies. Like the denial is not simply not doing the job. Likewise, for example, if today I say, I don't pray, not out of neglect, let's say, because the creator commands me to do daily prayers. I mean, I might not be doing the prayer out of my neglect. This is a separate issue. But if I say, like, why shall I pray? There's no point of prayer. Then one would ask the question, what makes you not prostrate? This is where the denial is happening. The denial is not because I don't do the act itself, but what makes me not do the act itself? And this is where Brother Birkan's explanations come into the picture. So Satan is justifying. So there's a superiority, and he claims I am superior because of certain things. But what is his sign of superiority? Says white is better than black. Fire is better than clay. What's wrong with that? Brother Birkan said that it's an arbitrary statement. Is it an arbitrary statement? What do you think? Gold versus, like, if Satan was made out of gold and Adam was made out of silver, and Satan were to say that you made me out of gold and him out of silver, of course I'm better. Would Satan be wrong?
I just because I'm maybe just struggling for the simple fact that we already put value of gold and silver. Like I feel like when it comes to this like basic race, there's also an between like all humans are the same, but for like something like gold and silver, there's already like an amount put on it, and there's like all by humans, right? It's just like something we decide, oh, this should have more monetary value than X. So I think like my first instinct is to actually just think like, oh, obviously gold is better, but maybe this just depends on wherever you. But
yeah, like tomorrow, if Elon Musk succeeds taking the rockets to the Mars and then brings in loads and loads of gold here, and then the gold prices will go down, and then
I would somehow reframe maybe silver stuff. I don't know, but like definitely my first thought is like, oh, they're just like arbitrarily we made monetary value. My first thought is definitely like, oh, gold is better.
Yeah. So in this sense, we are starting to either like two options are happening in here. Either I think that inherently gold is more valuable, like in itself, gold is valuable. This is why you made me out of gold. Or second, as you mentioned, we might be considering value of things relative to each other. Like this is better, this is worse. But in fact, what gives value in essence? Because the question is, what makes gold in the first place? I mean, what gives existence to gold in the first place? Because whomever gives existence to gold also gives value to the gold. Like think of it this way. The creator of gold is the creator of value of gold as well. Because value is just one feature of gold. But the very basic thing of gold's existence itself in the first place, does it belong to gold itself? How does gold happen to be? Like you can ask it, since Brother Beckham brought up skin color. So your skin color versus my skin color. Neither one of chose our skin colors. It is being made. Not initially though. So that color is being created. I'm not the creator of the color. Just this is the case. How about the value of the color? What gives value to the color itself either? I might either think that it is us which say one is better than the other. Or we can say, no, inherently one color is better than the other. But neither one of these really mean anything in a world where you are, like the color itself is being created. The value associated with color is also being given existence. Yeah.
And I guess one distinction, I don't know if your question stems from this or not. One distinction is the discussion here is not about the psychological value versus physical. Like, so with the example of the skin color, for instance, one may argue that it's just an arbitrary, yes, almost like a perceived value of a thing by a human being. But when it comes to gold versus silver, there's physical reasons because gold is rarer than silver, or its conductivity is higher than silver, etc. Right? Such explanations. But whatever explanation you choose, there is always a decision being made there. Somebody is deciding that gold will be more conductive, and being conductive will be more useful in such and such scenarios. It always boils down to certain choices not made by gold itself. So there's always someone else who's assigning value in every specific situation. If you are, for instance, trying to build a ship, gold is not that valuable because it will sink. Who decides? But if you want to make your wife happy, gold becomes more valuable than, let's say, mud, right, or wood. While wood is better to survive in an ocean. Who make those choices?
So then if we reformulate the problem for ourselves, if I say, like, I am born in a Turkish family, I am born in a such and such nation, while this guy is born in a totally different nation, which is lower than mine. Therefore, there must be something inherently good about me that God created me in this nation rather than that nation. So what is kufr in here? But still I am saying that God created me. But in this case, I am first saying that this nation is better than that nation for whatever reason. Where does this superiority come from? Because same idea, because now I'm comparing two things and saying one is better than the other. Is this quality referring to the creator of those two? Or do I assume that it is a quality that belongs to itself? This is where the problem is. If I think that inherently his nation is lower than my nation, this is where the kufr is happening. Why? How is this kufr? Birkan's nation being lower than my nation. What is kufr in here? As long as I think it as this being the case inherently, it's a fact.
Well, the first assumption is you have the knowledge to make that conclusion, like you're sharing ownership with a like that's kind of the assumption, like, oh, somehow I have a secret that I know I'm better magically, and there. So I think like, I mean, I'm tapping into an area where now I have the knowledge and oh, who's better and when it comes to creation, but in hindsight, I'm told that like who the creator is, everything he creates, and why he creates, rather than like this is better than this. Like I was never told this, so where did I be? But then I have a follow-up question to that.
Okay.
If that's the case, and I know we talked about how like where do you even get your own thoughts from? And so then one could easily then claim, well, like I don't know where, and so I must be the better whatever, because like look, the one who created me also created my thought, and therefore I am superior.
Okay, we'll get to that. Let's step back to the previous question. When we say naturalism, for instance, what is naturalism? Water has an inherent quality. Fire has an inherent quality. This is how fire behaves. This is how water behaves. These are the inherent qualities of gold. These are the inherent qualities of silver. So this idea of things having inherent qualities in and of themselves is this a correct observation? Let's start from there. Like, what is it? Diamond. Diamond is super hard, we say, right? Is this an inherent quality of diamonds, or diamond is being given this quality? That's why Quran, at the very early revelation, again and again brought up a point, which is when the sun is folded, when the clouds are being thrown away like cotton, like those qualities that you see and think like it cannot happen the other way around. It's within my power. I can do it this way, that way. This is what the creator is highlighting. So does it, because saying that this is its inherent quality is indicating that it just happens to be by itself, which should be something contrary to our observation in this existence. Everything is being made in purpose by an all-knowing one. So the idea of naturalism, just to put it into context, is totally covering up the truth of an all-knowing, all-wise, all-powerful creator. This attitude is a naturalist attitude, saying that fire is inherently better than clay. Or like more naturalistic way to say it, positive attracts negative. This is another naturalistic wording. In a world where positive attracts negative, if I'm okay with this, then I am doing what Satan is doing. I am covering up the truth that things cannot happen by themselves. So this is where Satan's problem started happening. But how is that related to this takbara of Satan? Like your physics teacher who says opposite, what's it called, charges attract each other. How is this idea potentially leading to saying that I am better than Birkan? Apparently, this is what is happening here. Like pretending to be better has roots in this idea of positive or opposite charges pull each other. Same charges push each other.
I think confusion starts when we all agree on something having higher value than anything else.
Higher or lower or intrinsic.
Yeah. And we see gold, and we all know that gold is at a higher value than stone, like concrete. There would be no doubt there. So what is wrong, gold saying that I'm more valuable than concrete, or make it more realistic? In Turkey, we have this, Ottomans, our descendants, that's what ancestors. They were chosen to lead the Muslim nation. It's not that we created anything; we were chosen to lead the Muslim nation. So the higher value was given to us. We didn't create it; it was given to us. So what is wrong with a Turkish person saying that we have higher value? Not that I am boasting, I am chosen. It was given to me as a responsibility, but I am created to lead the Muslim nation. What is wrong with that?
Yeah. So is the root cause clear? Like these are all examples of, I think, the same point. Is the root cause clear or not? Not much.
I think like for me, it's much easier to comprehend with like, well, or does it inherently have like any power? Like again, that's is comprehend, like I can comprehend that. Then like in that same idea of understanding that gold inherently doesn't have power, I'm still thinking gold is more valuable than silver. Like that thoughts both exist, I think like in the same sentence, I guess. So I'm still not very fast, I guess.
So in this case, then let's try to dissect Satan's thought. If Satan were to think that, yes, gold is made valuable by the creator, and clay is made less valuable by the creator. This is another option out there, right? Because we talked about two options so far. One is gold is inherently valuable by itself. Second option is we among humans, we give value. Both of these are really covering up the truth. Let's say Satan is, because apparently he is aware of the creator. Satan says, you created fire more valuable, and made us to perceive it as more valuable. And then you made us to perceive mud as less valuable. And in this value structure that you set up, you made me from the more valuable thing. So it must be that I had something more valuable, right?
It must be because I'm valuable, not as something
Yeah.
more valuable. Like it must be like you must have favored me a bit or something.
Right. Then what's the problem here? I am being made anew, so I was nothing, right? And now I'm being made anew, and I say that, oh, inherently I had some value. This is why you made me as such.
But you're not saying.
Because I didn't exist before. Like I am being made anew, like Adam is being made anew. Both of us are being made out of nothing, which means we had nothing, we were nothing, and now we are making out of nothing at this point. And now my claim is that I am made from the better because I had some inherent value, but you were nothing. Like the assumption is, no matter how far we dig it, Satan's perspective is always there is something that is inherently mine that was valuable. And oh God, you made your judgment based on this inherent value of mine. Even if Satan were to think that you made this nation better. You chose this nation for whatever arbitrary reason. God, you said that such and such nation is better. Okay, I'm okay with that. Because you do the same with gold. You favored gold over silver, let's say, from one perspective, not existentially. But yet you making me in this nation means, because you might have made me anywhere. Since you made me in here, then that means before, relative to me, I was already valuable, and you put me here. So still, I put some value to myself that is not put by the Creator. But I say, I have been valuable, and I am valuable.
Example of Imam Mursi, and he argues with his own soul. It says, my soul told me, look, Mursi, you have all this knowledge. Obviously, you are better than other people. You are a great scholar. And then he says, no, you are wrong. All this knowledge was given to me. I didn't have any of these. I don't have any of these. They are given to me. And the soul replies, okay, they are given to you, but there must be something the valuable in you that you were chosen among others to give such knowledge. And then he says, no, you are wrong. I was given this knowledge because I was in need of this knowledge more than anyone else. I was
more bankrupt
more bankrupt than the others. And
in like a setting of like when you well, we as Muslims should act like we are already like claimage of a culture ultimately like mixing actually the religion, some sort of a culture, and then the idea that like simply being born into something is also quote unquote making because I feel like that's a realistic example that is actually lives, but it feels very similar to me at least now as I'm reading this line. So I'm really in that sense I would feel a lot better I guess than what is being done.
I guess like the question of, especially with this line of thought, if you were to ask a person when you become Muslim, and then the answer is, oh, I was born Muslim, I born in a Muslim family, meaning that person never made a conscious choice to choose Islam as their own religion. And then if you keep pushing, okay, so like the child who is born into a Christian family, a Jewish family, or an atheist family is going into hell and you're going into paradise, like where is justice in here? And then the response generally happens that, oh, God knew that I am a good soul and he created me in this Muslim environment so that I ended up being Muslim, like similar to what's happening in here. So what is like, is this a justifiable, acceptable answer, or is it more in line with, it resembles Satan's answer more so?
yes, well, be careful to look at how he address believers. It's always in the form of at least examples that I can remember. But this is I think this is true as a big picture. It is in the form of the action, those who believe. Like the belief is addressed as an attitude, not as a community of people. Like those who believe in such and such thing are being addressed. If you are not among those, if you are not believing this, you are not the addressee of these sentiments. So you cannot say that, like you cannot label yourself as a Muslim with capital M, like as a type, and say that this is my book. call yourself as a believer, you have to call your attitude. Like, I'm believing in this right now, which makes me believer.
So in this regard, then, if we go back to this creator's two options that he presents to Satan, "Estakbarta am kunta min al-'alin," as if the creator is like putting the needle right at the heart of the problem. So sometimes it happens that asking the right question is the best way to pinpoint the problem. So he's saying, is this a problem of you pretending to be arrogant, or you really think that you are too high? And Satan really thinks that he is high, but the creator is saying that, no, you are making it up. It's not a reality. This is your problem. You really think that nation of fire is better than nation of clay. It's not that white skin is better than black skin. There is no inherent superiority. It's just you're making it up. You are introducing this, and this is the part that covers up the truth. So this way it is pretending. So what does then this mean? In terms of anything being given existence, nothing is superior to the other. Like a rat is no less than a human being in terms of being given existence. Like, can you claim to be better than a rat or a snake or anything in terms of, like, did you give existence to anything of yours? You were given this, rat was given that, and in terms of being created, we are equal. So all I can say is, as long as I'm happy with what is given to me, I will praise the one who gives this to me. If we take it back to this prostration part then, so angels prostrating without getting into this role of superiority, what does this signify? Like prostrating. فَسَجَدَ الْمَلَائِكَةُ. This is going to, like, sajda is attributed with lack of kibr. Other verses will follow, like and kibr will always be associated with kufr. Like, these two are going to be paired. If you don't feel superior, then you will prostrate. If you feel superior, then this is a sign of denial. What do you think? Do you see how is prostration related to here? Like, if you were in this situation, would you prostrate? What does it mean that the creator gives a command for, like, if your creator gives a command for you today to prostrate someone or something, would you follow suit?
I guess, like, it comes back to the conviction, right? Like, if you truly believe, like you said, but because I know I didn't create anything and I'm satisfied with me and how I'm created, ultimately there's a conviction that this is truly the owner of everything. To your limited knowledge, there's that satisfaction. So I think, like, it's much easier to prostrate in that than if you have, like, the doubt. Because if you have a slight doubt, then it'd be harder to do what you're doing. Because I have no reason to.
So practically, what does it mean to prostrate? Like, in your life, do you feel like the creator commands you to prostrate anything other than himself? Like, in this case, angels are commanded to prostrate to human. Practically, do we have an example of that?
Prostrate of parents, maybe, I feel like, not quite prostrate, but definitely more of the.
If we take it as after Adam being told all the names, the prostration comes. And we can take it as showing angels a value, a name, divine name, and then us being respecting his name. manifested there.
Mm.
So if we take it this way, let's say workplace, I come across people who are more intelligent than myself.
Mm.
Or I don't know, older, or different qualities manifested there, and I perceive it, and I cannot just expect. I cannot say that okay, this is intelligent being created by the creator, and I respect this. But instead, I say no. I do be intelligent than this person.
Mm. Yep, Jazakallah khairan. Yes, Sister Aisha. Yeah, from online.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I thought about also in terms of prostration, the way people would prostrate to kings, for example, or royalty. They would, in some cultures at least, like they would actually, prostrate or like the way that, we do in sujud, but also even just bowing and showing a certain type of reverence, or at least acknowledging the hierarchy of their I guess a high, like acknowledging that their position is much higher in the hierarchy, and that could also be due to them thinking that they are inherently better than everyone else in the society. But that's also one of the things I thought about in terms of prostration.
Yep. And that type of prostration is not allowed, although, yes, you're right. This is the point. And there are narrations where Bedouins wanted to prostrate to Prophet, ﷺ, and he said, no, prostration to man is prohibited. And he said, then I would like to kiss your feet. Then he allowed. There are narrations like this. But prostrating to a human being was prohibited. But now the creator is mentioning such a scenery where this is happening. But then it looks like what Brother Birkan says makes sense to me, because there is something nice, but pretty much like as I am prostrating towards Kaaba, am I prostrating to the stone in there? Or am I prostrating to what the stone, this empty stone structure represents, which is oneness of the creator? It's not about the stone itself. The stone has nothing to do with that. This is why, as we are turning towards Kaaba, probably we are missing that stone for quite a few number of thousand miles. Like we are not perfectly aligned with the stone itself, but we are turning towards there because we are turning towards what it symbolizes. If it was about the actual stone itself, unless you hit it 100%, you're going to be like worshiping something else. Since my wife is here, I need to give an example from my wife. So like the qualities that I observe in there, that I appreciate in there, I can prostrate to it as if it belongs to her, or I can see it as it is the merciful being manifested, the beautiful being manifested. Because it happens that, let me see if there are brothers here, like some brothers are looking for beautiful wife. Like in this case, beauty, which beauty am I prostrating to? Is it a beauty that belongs to the person themselves? Or is it the beautiful one that I am in search of? This is where things are getting messed up, right? So, sajda to things, because in this life, we will find things which are created by my creator in a way that I do observe the beauty, the perfection. Prostration in here is recognition of my neediness and the beauty of the provider. This is where iman is happening. And lack of prostration, as Brother Birkan was mentioning, saying that, no, I want to get this, I want to be better, this sort of faith, because now I am thinking that the beauty, the perfection belongs to that person, and I want to have it. It's my right. Then it starts like, what is the under the hood? It belongs to that person, and now I want to have it. I want to be better. And this is why this astakbarta, is what is going on in here. It's not that I am from Alim, it's not that I am from the better, but it is more so that I am pretending to be high. See, this is what happens. Age 2 and the idea of mine. It belongs to me. So this is part of training. Like at that age, by being given these feelings of mine, this disturbance is getting in there, because through this, and then the dad taking it away from her hand and saying that it's not yours, is a lifelong lesson for that child. So we are going through that education to realize what's going on in this story. Because the child is feeling like istakbarta is happening right there. Like she thinks that she is min al-alin, from the better ones. But the dad says, no, I gave this, crayons to you. It's given to you out of my mercy. It's not because you're cute. It's not because I just felt that you need it and I gave it to you. Not because you were any better than any of my other childs or anything. It was because of your need. So this is why قال فاخرج منها فإنك رجيم. Satan being stoned, cursed, like this sort of a, as we were talking about Hajj and the symbols in Hajj, we throw stones at Satan. Like such a worldview is being stoned. This is what Quran is saying. How is Satan cursed? How is Satan stoned? So such an idea is to be stoned because it doesn't have any truth. Like you will chase it away. It doesn't have any truth. It is like if you have a, like there are truths in our scientific endeavor. And if you bring in the idea of revelation to the lab, what would they do? They will stone the idea of bringing revelation into the lab, right? Now the Creator is saying that it's the other way around. The idea that you bring doesn't have any truth in it, so it is to be chased away, stoned away, because it's valueless. Anything you would like to add about these verses? Any comments, questions? So this istikbar is a satanic attitude. This is how Quran is introducing it to us. It's not inherent to human, but in the story of human is put at the center. Then there are those angels who are obedient, and then there's this other end, Satan, who is istakbara, like arrogant. The Creator is saying that these two will talk to you. Satan will talk to you, angels will talk to you. Angels will bring in revelation to you. Satan will give whispers to you. So these are the two channels that are open to you, which means you're going to be under the influence of these two currents. And this story is a warning in this regard. So another place where, another occasion in which istakbara is being mentioned is in prophetic stories. One of them is here. وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا مُوسَى الْكِتَابَ وَقَفَّيْنَا مِنْ بَعْدِهِ بِالرُّسُلِ. Surely we gave Moses the scripture and caused a train of messengers to follow him. وَآتَيْنَا عِيسَى ابْنَ مَرْيَمَ الْبَيِّنَاتِ وَيَدْنَاهُ بِرُوحِ الْقُدُسِ. And then sent Jesus, the son of Mary, with clear proofs and supported him with the spirit of holiness. فَكُلَّمَا جَاءَكُمْ رَسُولٌ بِمَا لَا تَهْوَى أَنفُسُكُمُ اسْتَكْبَرْتُمْ فَفَرِيقًا كَذَّبْتُمْ وَفَرِيقًا تَقْتُلُونَ. But is it not true that every time a messenger brought to you something that was not to your liking, you acted arrogantly? You called some messengers liars and killed others. Now this is bringing istikbar to a different level. Messengers bring messages, but isn't it true that whenever a messenger brought to you something that was not to your liking, like لا تهوى أنفسكم. And لا تهوى أنفسكم in here is like, it's not your liking, but liking in this case is it's not suitable to your hawa. Like hawa is like air, but just this, like I don't like it. It's not fitting my whims, sort of. Then astakbartum, you claimed superiority over them. To the messenger is being mentioned in here. فَفَرِيقًا كَذَّبْتُمْ وَفَرِيقًا تَقْتُلُونَ. And from there, there's a fork. Some of you just give them a lie, and some others even murdered them, murdered their messengers. What do you think about this? How does this apply to us? Messenger brings us message, and then whatever they bring, if it's not to our mood at that point, we either like we first claim superiority and then either say that they're liars or we kill them. Do you do such a thing? Like other than putting the blame on a certain nation which is famous with their killing their prophets? Have you ever killed a prophet, or have you ever told a prophet a liar, or what does this mean? Where is arrogance in here?
We can just go to the current education system about like when we think about naturalism and where like things stem from. We have messengers that are clearly telling us their best ability of like what's happening and how things came about, but they're like, no, wrong. This is a historical XYZ that happened. Here's how actually things came about. This our existence and how we came about. So we actually came up with a whole different scripture called science to describe our life way. So I think that's like one way of acting arrogantly for a message and a message. I'm calling them a liar, because like we have an alternative. I don't know what
I think the key word there is the taqwa and fusukum. So like nobody has any obligation to accept it, right? Just because a messenger came and told you that this is how things happen. You don't have to accept it. But here it says you don't accept it because it doesn't fit to your empty desires. It is true, but you deny it on the basis of your wishes or your desires. Otherwise, like I am not about being obedient. The ayah is about being honest. We are.
This idea of how we take messengers, I guess we can generalize it based on how we treat our messengers that come to us day to day. Because it concluded by saying, وَأَيَّدْنَاهُ بِرُوحِ الْقُدُسِ. So Jesus, the son of Mary, with clear proofs, and supported him with the spirit of holiness. So Ruh al-Qudus is like generally mentioned as Gabriel, angel Gabriel. Those signs, messengers are also being sent to us. Today, for example, if like you feel like you're too good at something and then you fail it tomorrow, or you're so comfortable and you submit a paper and then it gets rejected pointlessly, or you're the best in a certain test, and when you're taking the test, you score the worst on this subject matter. So it's really hurting my ego. Like it brings a message to me. That event is bringing a message to me. And then, but that message is against my hawa, my whims. I thought I was too good at it. And it's just reminding me that it was not me who is good. I was being made successful in a certain field. But since I thought that it was mine, a messenger comes and says, okay, here's the failure. How do you take it? What do I do? Wastakbara, I feel like, no, I am good. Then either I say that normally I would have done this, but you know what? As I was just on the soccer field, let's say I am the best soccer player, or the ground was a little moist and my feet just slid away. It was like I am now blaming the messenger as a liar, saying that it didn't bring any message. It was just coincidence. Or sometimes I kill it, meaning it was a messenger, but I'm trying to cover it up, get rid of it so that it doesn't carry any message to me. I don't want to remember that event of me underperforming or failing. I just want to erase that thing from my memory or however it comes to me. This is something that happens every day in my life, isn't it? Like when something that upsets you happens, how do you face it? Do you take it as a messenger that brings you a message from your creator? Because this requires me accepting that I was in need of a message. I didn't know it. And then the message came to me. No, I say, no, it was just a coincidence. It's not a messenger. See, it comes as a messenger. But I say, no, you're not a messenger. It just happened by chance. As we were slaughtering animals for the Eid, so I am the guy who shows people how to do it.
The slaughtering.
The slaughtering. And when it came to mine, and I was showing them how to keep it straight and do it at once, and I was telling them that just don't be gentle. You have to make it in one shot or one cut, because one or two people had it where they were just being too nice to hold the animal, and then if you don't hold it tight when you cut it, it has to be tight so that you can cut it, right? When I was doing it, my feet slide. And then I did it in two cuts. So what? No, so it was two. Was it not? Okay. So was it a message to my creator saying that you really think that's like, you know, and you show it, and then one of the people who did it for the first time was not holding it tight. No, you have to do it like this, like angrily telling them how to do it because you don't know, I know. Now my creator, I mean, I can take this event as, well, the environment was too moist and bloody that I slid, like nothing to make out of this as a message. But then I'm really killing the messenger in this case. If I take it the other way around, what does my creator tell me in the scene now? Because, or you have been thinking that you're going to teach people, or you were rebuking them for doing it wrong. Here it is, you do it wrong. Where does doing it right come from? So my attitude towards such events in life, if I extrapolate it to actual human beings bringing me message, is not going to be any different. When the message contradicts my whims, then I would do the same with the messenger as well. Because when we read such verses, if I feel like I am venerating Prophet Muhammad ﷺ very high in my perception, how serious I am about this. So that's why we can test it the other way around. And I guess in my example, istakbara part is, I wouldn't do this normally. I slid. This is why it happened. So still I am thinking high of me, like such an event would not happen if it was left to me. There was something extra going on. So I am the arrogance, thinking high of myself is there. So this is how I kill a messenger as a liar or kills. And it's again an act of istakbara. And if you go back to the story of Satan, same pattern is there, thinking high of myself. So shall we conclude here? Any comments? No? Okay. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين الفاتحة